Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I am out in the orchard garden this morning and Jason and I are on gopher patrol today. We do want to plant a couple things. I want to transplant one of my roses, but we have to think about gophers. We have gophers in this orchard garden bed pretty bad. I didn't want to admit it at first. I started noticing a couple of my plants were just dying for no reason. And I thought, oh, it's the soil. Oh, it's the heat. And then we started seeing gopher mounds and I finally admitted it to myself. Admitting is the first step. Admitting that you have a problem is the first step. And we definitely had a problem. We have a field next door with goats and I'm sure that there's plenty of gophers living in that field. And they found some yummy stuff here and they came over. We have basically tried everything under the sun to get rid of them, almost everything. We didn't do the poison. We have tried traps. We have tried the little buzzy things. We have a dog, so you would think the dog would do something. No. We have tried the where you put feces in the holes and stuff like that, and that didn't do anything. So it's getting really, really frustrating. And so finally, we ended up bringing some professionals in. And that, I think, took care of the problem. I don't know. Our plant death definitely decreased after the professional came in, and he keeps coming back just to kind of check on it and to touch up, I guess. But we're still noticing some plants dying, and I don't know if they're dying because the gophers already ate a ton of their roots, or if we still have gophers. Regardless, we have to start treating this garden bed like it has a gopher problem. So the orchard garden is from my espalier over there by the house all the way along this fence right here, all the way to the front fence. That is what we're calling our orchard garden. And we have pretty much had activity in this entire garden, from underneath the truffula pink gomphrena over there. And then we've even found some gopher holes in the homestead verbena that are surrounding the deodar cedar right there. So this whole thing has been affected. But the main area where the worst activity was or is right in between these two orange trees right here. And where we first started noticing a problem was this garden bed right here. This one, earlier this season, I had initially planted some sweet romance lavender, and then I interspersed that with some artichokes and some cardoons. And I thought it would be really, really pretty. However, one by one, my cardoons started dying. It was literally like we would come out and there would be one that was just completely dead, just overnight completely dead. Pull it up, no roots, right? Nothing left. Next day, another one just dead. Next day, another one dead. And it happened like 5 of them. I still have this one left. I have that one, but it's not doing very well. I think some of the roots were eaten. And then I have one over here, same thing. I'm sure if I pulled it out, some of the roots would be eaten. Now, they didn't touch the lavender, and that is because it is stated, it's, they say, I don't know who they are, but they say that gophers don't like lavender. And you can see that our gophers do not like lavender because they didn't touch the lavender, which is great. I'm really happy about that. Once we started noticing this activity, that's when we started getting gopher traps and the little beepy things that are supposed to annoy them. And we started really addressing it. Then over here, I had 3 beautiful plants that I was really excited about. They were called Estrelita Little Star firecracker bushes. I thought that they would be so good for this orchard garden bed. All dead. Then I had a Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea that I was so excited about right here, and it started looking really bad. I went and I grabbed it, pulled it out. It had absolutely no roots to it. So very, very frustrating. It was just like one by one we were losing plants, and that's when we decided to bring in the professionals. So the professionals came in and they actually gassed. They put gas, poisonous gas in the gopher tunnels. And so basically, it would poison the gophers without harming the goats next door or our dog or any cats. We had barn cats at the time. And so Jason and I, we didn't want to put out like poison that these animals could get a hold of, but the gas seemed like it was a good option. And once they did that, like I was saying, the rate of plant death significantly decreased. I really didn't see very many issues. But as the season went on, I started noticing plants were really, really struggling. And I could not figure out why. And then once they eventually died, I would pull them out and realize that they had barely any root system. A good example of that is this plant right here. This is my meant to be royal raspberry Agastache. And this is a beautiful plant. I had 3 here though, and they were doing so well. Let me show you some pictures of when they were in their heyday. Gorgeous. I had really high hopes for this plant because it's supposed to handle heat really well, and it's supposed to start blooming and basically bloom all the way through until fall. So I was super excited. However, mine started dying. Like just branches of it started browning out and dying. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if I was overwatering it or it was too hot here or the soil was bad. So finally I pulled one up and it had no roots, absolutely no roots, which was shocking because gophers aren't really supposed to like Agastache. It's one of those resistant plants to gophers, but we all know with pests in the garden, like deer and like gophers, if they get hungry enough, they're going to basically try anything. And I think that that's what happened to my royal raspberry Agastache. So I love this plant so much. I ended up getting more to replace it. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to put them in gopher cages. Okay. Hey, Jason.
Hey.
What you doing back here?
I am making gopher cages.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just figured we have this whole roll of chicken wire sitting here that we don't really have a use for at this point. And so I figured this is as good a use as anything. I know you could go to the store and you could probably buy them. I don't know how much they would cost, but I'm sure it would be more expensive than this.
So you can buy gopher cages very easily.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I'm sure I could have gone somewhere and found them.
Yeah, but we happen to have all of this.
We have all of this, and so I figured if I can make or find an easy way to make them, it would be worth it. And so I think I think it's pretty simple actually. So what I'm doing is taking just the pot that's going to be the size that we're going to use, just kind of measuring it like this, wrap this around so that I know this happens to actually line up pretty well with this scrap I had left over. And then so that's about how big I would want it to be. And then I just got some old pruners. I had these wire cutters here, but they're kind of tedious to use. These old pruners work really well. So then I just leave a couple of inches that's going to fold over the bottom, and then just kind of start snipping.
Oh yeah, that works well.
My way across, right? Super easy.
Yeah.
And then, so I have one that, so I don't have to cut this whole thing here for you guys. I already have one that I cut. So this one here just folds over like that. Oh, and that's right. I use the top of the chicken wire because then there's less, pokey pieces.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
smart.
That's
yeah.
safer. So I've got the pointy ends down.
Yeah. Poke the gophers.
Poke the gophers and don't poke our fingers when we're trying to plant or whatever. Yeah, I just kind of do that, and then you can just take one or two of these and just kind of wrap it around, just kind of make like a hook.
Yeah.
And just, just that simple. And like that holds it in place just fine.
Yeah.
You don't need anything more fancy than that because it's going to sit in the ground anyway.
And everything I read, they recommended either hardware cloth or chicken wire. We happen to have a whole roll of chicken wire that was being unused.
We have a little bit of hardware cloth, but I think that chicken wire is actually a little bit more pliable and easy to work with.
Yeah.
I think.
And then you could bend it over on each other.
Yeah. So then once you get here, I just kind of bend it over.
Yeah.
Right? And
perfect.
And there you go.
Easy.
Super easy.
So we're just going to stick that in the planting hole. And obviously, as the plant grows, its roots are going to come out of here. And if the gopher comes up, the gopher can eat the roots that have come out of here. But the idea is the majority of the roots are going to be protected. So the plant will still be able to survive while we deal with the gopher problem.
So the plant might be injured but not killed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so we're expecting the root. I want the roots to extend out past this point. And
it will. We're going to keep an eye on it. We've got it fairly under control, but we just have to keep an eye on it and make sure that we keep addressing the gophers if they come back.
Keep calling the professionals in.
Which I'm sure they will come back.
Yeah, I think those professionals are going to know us by name eventually.
No kidding.
I think that this is a really good solution for us because we are going to be planting so many plants.
I think we could spend a fortune on like store-bought gopher cages.
Yeah. So if you had a smaller garden than we have, maybe just buy one. It'd be easier than buying chicken wire. But in our situation,
if you were going to buy, if you needed 5, I'd probably just buy them and save yourself the trouble of buying chicken wire or whatever.
Yeah, but we're gonna
probably use lots of these.
Yeah. So goal is from now on, every plant that we plant in that garden bed, we are going to be using a gopher cage like this. That's the goal.
And now that I know how to do this, they only take a couple of minutes each to make, so not even a big deal. I could knock out a dozen of these in a short amount of time if I needed to.
Cool. All right. Ready to plant?
Yep, let's do it. So that was pretty easy, huh?
Yes, it was. And we already have drip.
Yeah, that makes it nice. It's already there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
So what do you think? I'm watching you plant those, and I made the cages the right size to fit the pot, basically.
Yeah.
But then I wonder if it would be good to have a little bit more, like a bigger cage, to let the roots grow a little bit more.
I think so. You know, I mean, I think it's fine because that's going to at least protect the important roots.
Yeah. And if you make the cage a lot bigger, then you're digging a lot bigger hole too. So that's kind of a trade-off too. Like how big of a hole do you want to dig, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'll work. It's just interesting. Like you could do it obviously 1,000 different ways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like one size bigger of a pot. Like if you're planting this size pot, maybe get the next size.
Yeah.
And wrap it around that.
That kind of makes sense.
I don't know. It's an art. But I'm happy about this because I feel like they're protected now. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'll definitely help. It has to help.
So I took one out. I took this one out. Come over here. This was the one half plant we had left. And you can see its roots still look good. I mean, it's not a very well-developed root system, but it still looks good. I ended up taking this out because I knew I had to put a gopher cage around it anyway. And I have 2 more of these Royal Raspberry Agastache. So I think I'm going to go plant this one and 2 more over in the long border right now. So I can save this plant. And we haven't had any gopher activity. Do you think that we need gopher cages in the long border?
I don't think so. I haven't seen a single gopher over there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. And there's not really a field over on that side.
Right.
Anyway.
That's just somebody's parking lot, basically.
So I want to go plant those and the 2 more in the long border real quick. And then we'll do the rows.
Okay.
All right, so these 3 royal raspberries are done. Jason and I just planted 3 more over in the long border. Now we need to address this Flavorette Honey Apricot Rose. Now this rose, well, first of all, it's an absolute gorgeous rose. I want to bring your attention to how clean this rose is. There is not one spot on this rose, and I haven't touched it all season long. It's absolutely amazing. It's bred for landscape performance, and it's bred for taste, which is really funny. But the petals are bred to taste good. They taste like honey apricot. They're fun for like sprinkling on salads or putting on like cookies or something like that. It's just a really fun rose to have in your garden. I don't know what I was thinking by planting it right here, because this rose gets 8 feet tall, and I planted it under my orange tree. I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't know. Doesn't matter, because we need to move it anyway. So gophers are known to attack roses.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's one of the things that they like eating, the tuberous roots or whatever. And I have no idea how this rose survived, because you can see the tag right there. That is a gopher hole, which is where one of my yarrow used to be, which is really sad. So it's just right there. So I'm not really sure why the gopher didn't touch this Flavorette rose. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But we're going to move it anyway, and we're going to move it over into the long border. So Jason's going to help me dig it up. We'll take a look at the roots, see how they're looking, and then because I had to transplant this anyway, it's just protecting it from the gophers, the gopher activity over here. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I don't know why they didn't touch this. Whatever.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. All right.
Done.
Yeah. Well, not too bad. We'll see how that does with the gophers. We'll keep you all updated. Gophers, pests in the garden are such a pain.
They're pests.
They're pests. They're such pests. And when you find out that you have something, it's just so frustrating. So just try not to get discouraged. You'll figure something out that works. And yeah, it's just such a bummer that all your hard work and your money goes down the drain.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So like I said, we will be doing gopher cages on all the plants in the orchard. You don't think we need to do them in this garden bed?
I've never seen a gopher over here, and there's like gravel and driveway and stuff like that over there. There's like an island for gophers over here.
I ended up putting one on the rose just because I got nervous. So
that's fine. Like, yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Knock on wood now that we said that. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.